Bonjour et bienvenue à l'Alliance française de Chicago. My name is Anne Tenin and I am the manager of Chez Kids Academy, where all the kids program happen. Today we go to France for some Francophone food with Vanille Pâtisserie. Chef Sophie Evanoff will make a financier assisted by les petits marmitons de Chez Kids or pre-K group. This program is part of the 2022 edition of le Festival de la Francophonie, French World Fest. La Francophonie, it's 300 million French speakers in 35 countries across 5 continents. And it's also 135 million of students of French worldwide. But first, I would like to invite Nicolas Douay, the Attaché for Higher Education at the Consulate of France in Chicago, to tell us more about le financier.
Bonsoir, hello everyone. Thank you, Anne, and thank you also to the staff of the Alliance Française. It's always a great pleasure to work with you. So my name is Nicolas Douay. I work for the French Consulate in Chicago, where I am the Attaché for Education and also Deputy Director of the Villa Albertine in Chicago. So the month of the Francophonie is always a very important moment in our cultural programs. And of course, we always have a lot of fun talking about gastronomy. Last year, we enjoyed rougail saucisse, a popular dish from Réunion Island, a French island in the middle of the Indian Ocean. And this year, we will be enjoying French pâtisserie with financier. So I think it's an excellent choice because when I was a little kid, it was the snack that I had at the end of the school with my mom. So the idea came from Sophie from Vanille, the famous Chicago pâtisserie. So thank you, Sophie, for being part of this celebration of the French language. Bonjour, Sophie, comment ça va? How are you today? Sophie, are you here?
Okay, sorry, I had to be allowed to be unmuted. How are you? Hi, everyone.
Very good. So Sophie, can you tell us how you became a chef at Vanille?
Sure. So I moved to Chicago to attend the French pastry school. And from there, I met the former founder of Vanille, who was an amazing French pastry chef, still is. And he wanted to pursue other opportunities and get out of the business. And I, on the other hand, love French pastries, but also love the business of baking. So here we are 10 years later, and I am still here.
Okay, so can you tell us what kind of pastries we can find at Vanille?
Sure, so you can find a lot of traditional French pastries. We have French macaroons, petit gâteaux, croissants. We do pâte à fouille, some of the other French confections, financier on occasion, because we all know it's delicious. And we also do American style things as well. We have American style layer cakes. Sometimes you can find banana bread here, but we do definitely, if we're doing American things, we like to be inspired by French flavors and addition of macaroons. And you can find all the seasonal traditions. We do bûche de Noël, galette de bois, and then of course we have American pies for Thanksgiving. So we're here to serve you with whatever your baking needs.
Cool. And why did you choose to make a financier with the kids from the Alliance Française?
So you approached me to do a demo and I responded, if I can do it with kids. So if you know me or don't know me, I love pastries, but I love kids just as equally as much. And I think baking with children is such a great experience and learning, and it's fun and of course delicious. And for kids, financier is such an easy recipe to do. You don't need heavy equipment, with the exception of brown butter that parents can do beforehand. It's easy mixing. You can make it fun for kids. They can make it their own, and it's really something they can do on their own. So that's why we chose it. And like you mentioned, it's the perfect after school snack and will last several days too. So.
Cool. And what are the other favorite pastries that you enjoy?
Me personally, the one that we do seasonally is fraisier, only around in the summer. That is definitely one of my favorite petit gâteaux here. And millefeuille is my other second favorite that we normally do on the weekends because it has to be fresh too.
Okay, we'll try it next year maybe.
Yeah, that one we could do next year.
Okay, and do you travel sometimes to France to enjoy it? In France, in Paris?
Yes. Sadly, my first trip to Paris was in 2017. So I'd already been running Vanille, and I have admired patisseries from afar for years and years and years. And I finally made it. And hopefully, if things are okay, I do have a trip planned next week to go to Paris for 3 days and go to as many patisseries as I can go to.
So do you have some favorite places in Paris or in France?
Favorite, I love Fauchon. I love Pierre Hermé, it's classic. Angelina too has also an amazing millefeuille, as you know, that's one of my favorites. And I'm looking forward to trying a lot of new places next week, hopefully. I have not been to Hugo and Victor. That's been on my list for a long time. And Cedric Rollet and Cyril Lignac. Hopefully my pronunciation is okay.
Lignac, yeah, perfect. Very good. Thank you. So maybe it's now time to watch the video. So the recipe is on the web page of the Alliance Française, and we will send it to you with the recording of the program. So stay with us after the demo, and we will answer your questions.
Hi, my name is Sophie Evanoff. I am the chef owner of Vanille Pâtisserie. We are located in Lincoln Park in Chicago French Market. And today we're going to be showing you how to make financier at home. If you're not familiar with financier, it's a French style tea cake, as I would say, that's primarily made of almond flour. And it's a great snack any time of the day, breakfast, and it will last you several days. So we're going to alter the recipe a little bit because we're going to do this without a mixer and show you how to do it at home if you don't have a mixer. So the first thing you want to do is combine all your dry ingredients. So we have 418 grams of powdered sugar, the almond flour, and almond flour is pretty easy to get. You can find it now pretty much at any grocery store. Regular all-purpose flour. Don't forget the baking powder, most important to make your rice. And then you're just going to gently mix all this together. You want to combine it till it's basically all the same color and it looks like all the ingredients are combined. Now we went ahead and made the brown butter ahead of time, but if you're doing it just for the sake of this recipe, you want to let it cool a little bit. That's why you want to alternate. And the flavor really comes from the brown butter, so do not skip this step. It will totally change your flavor. So the next thing you want to do is mix all your wet ingredients. So egg whites, we have honey, and vanilla paste. If you don't have vanilla paste, vanilla extract will work, same amount, you don't need to alter anything. Mix that together. And then once that's mixed, again, because the brown butter is not hot, we can add the wet all together in the dry, except the brown butter, that will be last. Start slowly if you're doing this at home, just so you don't have any splatters. Make sure you scrape your edges and the bottom so nothing gets left. So once this is combined, it'll look just like this, smooth and silky and delicious. Then you're gonna add your brown butter. You may think it won't incorporate at first, but it totally will. Just keep mixing slowly. But once that's mixed, your batter is done. And this is a traditional recipe, and you can add whatever you like. My personal favorite is fresh raspberries. Traditionally, financier is in the shape of a bar because it is to resemble a gold bar. But we can bake these in muffin tins, like we did, any paper cups you have or any bowls that you have. If you do it in a muffin tin, you're gonna treat it just like a cupcake. You're gonna fill your cups 2/3 full. 375 for 18 to 24 minutes. You're gonna want it a nice golden brown color. And same thing, you can treat it like a cupcake. You can test it with a toothpick. If it comes out dry, then it's baked. So put that in your oven.
Merci, bravo, bravo. So now we will open the question time, but maybe I can ask the first question. Sophie, how was it to do it with the kids? Was it
It was
difficult?
the best. No, I can't wait to come back, to be honest. It was so much fun, and they were so engaged. And like I said, I love baking, and when you do it with kids, it's that much more enjoyable. And just mixing, and I'm sure you noticed the sprinkles and the M&Ms, which is not traditional French, but with kids it's fun and they can make it their own. So we did bring some toppings and things.
Cool, excellent. So we have a first question. Can you see it? So Sophie, what do you think is the hardest part about French baking?
It is, I would say, the attention to detail, and there's no shortcuts. No matter how good you get or trained technically, like, you cannot make shortcuts when it comes to French baking.
It's almost chemistry, you know?
Yeah, it is.
Do you offer baking classes for adults?
We don't. It is definitely something we've talked about here, and I'm hoping in the next, hopefully within 6 months, we might be able to do stuff, but keep an eye out. There might be more collaborations. You know, we'll see what we can do.
And we do here at the Alliance Française from time to time. We had a macaron recipe not long ago, and maybe Sophie will help us, help you bake French new pastries.
Sophie, what would you like to teach? Financier, macaron, what else?
You know, we've done a galette de bois class is fun. I've done that with kids, but kids or adults, it's a fun activity to make at home. If you're not making your own puff pastry, that's another whole other day demo. But and there's a lot of traditional, some of the petit gâteaux are a little bit harder to translate at home because there's so many steps and things have to be frozen and assembling. But there's a lot you can still do. Fraisier actually would be an easy one to do.
Cool.
Yeah, eclairs. I just saw it in the chat. Eclairs is another easy one. You know, it's not a lot of steps.
Maybe some galette. It's more complicated, right? Yeah.
No, that can be done.
Okay.
Some chouquettes.
Yeah. Oh, I love those too. Yes.
Count me in for the galette and the chouquette.
Okay. Yeah. Me too.
We have a question about any other favorite French dishes?
Favorite, just pastries or
no. Besides pastries.
besides? Oh, that's a tough question. I live in pastry land, so my mind only thinks pastry. I mean, who can, I mean, I can never resist a really good solid cassoulet, as long as I'm not making it. I'll be honest, I do not cook savory at all. If someone else is cooking, I'm there to enjoy. That's probably one of my top favorites, I have to say, when it's done right.
And you, Nicolas, what is your favorite dish?
You know, I come from the north of France and I like the carbonate flamand, the Flemish carbonate. So it's more like it's some beef made with some beer and with some gingerbread. And it's naturally salty, naturally sweet. So it's another kind of the famous bœuf bourguignon. So I like the carbonate flamand that we serve with French fries in France. I mean, in the French Flanders, but also in Belgium. And oh, Ines, apparently she agrees with me. So thank you, Ines. Maybe we can have one. And also, what do I like? I like the financier because it always reminds me the good time when I was a kid. But I like the éclair. I like the millefeuille. And I like everything with raspberries. What about you, Anne?
I love a lot of, I'm on the sugar side. Je suis un bec sucré, as we say in France. So a lot of the things you mentioned are really good. I like the millefeuille or the éclair. I really like anything chocolate, I have to admit. And as a savory dish, I really like, I'm from Provence, so I really like what we call tomate provençale, which is just tomatoes with a lot of garlic. And that's really reminding me of my mom and my grandma, and I really like it.
Okay, we have also a question about the wine. So Sophie, what do you recommend for wine or bubbles with desserts?
Oh, you're asking the wrong person. I typically only drink champagne, so, but I'm not a huge wine connoisseur, but there's some great dessert wines you can pair. Any red wines usually go well with chocolate. I know we've done pairings like that, but yeah, I'm not a huge drinker.
Yeah, and also thank you, Raphael, but also all the kind of a sweet white wine could be a good match with all kind of sweet.
Comme le
champagne is good.
c'est tellement bon.
Yeah. Also some milk. Thank you, Wendy.
You're absolutely right. Champagne goes with everything.
Yes.
And we have a question about the measurements in baking. Do you always use metric?
Yeah, we do here. All of our recipes, even anything new we do here is in metric. It is more precise. It's easier when we're trying to increase a batch size or decrease a batch size. So yeah, everything we do here is metric.
Is it usual in the US or?
No, it's unusual. I have several baker friends throughout the country and they're much more American. Nothing is in metric. So it's a challenge sometimes when we swap recipes, you know, or ask for advice for converting. So.
And we have a question from Inez. What is your favorite pastry shop in Paris, Sophie?
Did mention Francophone. I love their hip take on branding and all the products they do, and they offer so many things. Angelina for more traditional, and Milfoy. Those two I like a lot. We'll see if I go next week. I'm sure I'll have new favorites.
Cool. I can also recommend the Mère. It's a pastry from Paris, but they have also one in Paris, and they serve some wonderful small waffles stuffed with vanillas or some other kind of sugars, or yeah, many flavors, but it's very original, and it's the one that used to be eaten by the Général de Gaulle when he was a kid in Lille.
Oh wow.
Maybe Anne. Oh, and we have a question. Do you ever make sorry.
Go on. I can answer later.
Go ahead. No, we have also a question for Merveilleux at Vanille. And thank you, Raphael, because I told Sophie to look at Merveilleux, to look at the Merveilleux de Fred that you can find in Lille, in Paris, and also in New York City.
Yeah, so we don't. And actually, I had them for the first time in 2017. And I completely forgot, they're one of the best things I've ever had. And we tried to make them here, actually, and we couldn't quite get it right. And at the time we just stopped. So if anyone has a recipe, please send them my way. Come show us how to make it. They're delicious. I bought a whole cookbook when I was in France about it too. And we still couldn't perfect it. So, but I'm open to suggestions.
So Anne, maybe?
Yes, I just wanted to say, if you go to Paris, usually what I like is to try different pastries, and the thing I look is meilleur pâtissier de France, the best pastry of France. You have like a round sign on the bakeries or the boulangerie where it's the best of the best in France. And that's really usually nice surprises. And that's what we like to do with my family. We like to, any place we go actually in France, because it's not only in Paris, we like to check and we usually have very nice surprises, like in Gramat, for example, which is in southwest France, where my husband is from. We found a great pâtisserie because of that. And now we go back every summer.
Oh, awesome. I'm getting so much info tips today. This is amazing. Thank you, everybody.
So we have also a recommendation about Cédric Grolet in Paris that maybe you should try, or maybe you know.
Yeah, he's on my list. He's
Cool.
on the list.
And we have a question from Gabby. So do you develop the recipes yourself, or do you use recipes passed down?
So we do have some that were passed down, and then we typically develop as a team here. So if I generate ideas or other members of the kitchen team generate ideas, they'll collaborate together, and then we'll keep tweaking until we all, determine this is the best end result.
Good. Maybe I have another comment. I really like the palmier. I don't know if you know what it is, Sophie,
Yeah.
And I found it very interesting because you can find many different kind of palmier. Sometimes it's dry, sometimes not. So it's always a good way to, to kind of evaluate the quality of the pastries.
Okay.
Maybe you should think of doing one here.
I wish more traditional French pastries translated well here. We've tried different things in the past and they just don't take off. Like what's normal day-to-day pastries for most of the French people in America, it just doesn't work. Sadly. Sadly, as we've tried, but we've tried.
And did you try to make some bread? Do you like it, or maybe you just concentrate on pastries?
Yeah, we concentrate on pastries here. If you bake at home or know anything about the baking world, making bread is a totally different animal, and you need completely different equipment. And so here we're just set up for pastry. So we bring bread in around the holidays. We partner with La Fournette, which is an amazing bread bakery in the city. Mm-hmm. If you're not familiar, they're in Old Town. So, and we do a lot of more pastries than they do, but they do amazing bread. So I think, you find your niche and what you're good at, and you just bring in the best from everyone else.
We have questioned about the experience of becoming a French pastry chef. What was it like baking your first French pastry? Do you remember? Do you remember where you start with?
Yeah, so I always baked as a child with my mom. My family's European, we're not French though. So I did grow up with a strong emphasis on baking and quality baking and not very sweet baking. I don't remember what it was called, but I had this cookbook. I was in high school, I think. And it was like an orange cake. And I'm pretty sure it was French. And it had orange slices on top, and you put it in the pan and you flipped it over, and it was layered, and it was so elaborate. And I attempted as a high school person. I can't say it turned out that well, but I still made it. And of course, as family is supportive, they said how amazing it was. And then we had friends who are French, and they said, you need to go learn French pastry. As we all know, they're the best and everything. And so before I moved to Chicago, I took culinary classes at the local community college just to see if that's what I wanted to do. And I enjoyed it. But of course, they don't teach French cuisine or technique a lot with baking. It was muffins and it was chocolate chip cookies. And that's not what I wanted to be or to learn. And so researching schools, I landed on the French pastry school, and I knew that's where I wanted to be. So I moved here 2009, attended the French pastry school, and the rest is history, as they say.
Cool. Excellent. I think that we have a question about the quality of ingredients. Where do you find your butter, your milk?
Yeah, so
we
use European butter. So the difference between, I'm sure most of you know, between European butter and American butter is American butter has more water content, and European has a higher fat. So it's better flavor, it's better for cooking. And all our chocolates, we do import chocolates from France. We don't use any made in America chocolates. And all of our ingredients are pretty much flour. We do get flour from here locally. We don't import flour. But any of the specialty ingredients, like I said, do come from France mainly. Because that's where the pastry is coming out, the ingredients.
Do we have any other comments or questions? So maybe we will give back the floor to Anne. Thank you, Sophie. It was amazing.
Thank you, everybody.
You. Mille merci to Nicolas et Sophie and les marmitons. And thank you to all of you for being here with us tonight. This program is possible thanks to the Villa Albertine and the Consulate General of France in Chicago. And le Festival de la Francophonie is possible thanks to the support of our Franco partners in Chicago and the Federation of Alliance Française USA. We hope you can join us tomorrow, already, Thursday, March 3rd, when our friends from Belgium will show us how to cook the famous endive with love. It's a classic feel-good dish, les chicons au gratin. So this program is free, online, in English, and it's going to be at 5:30 p.m. Now we will ask you to unmute yourself to give a big round of applause for La France et Vanille Pâtisserie.
Clap.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.